Hi there Van fans, and welcome to the final part of this series of making a 1 to 56 scale shipping container, and today we're going to get to do the painting. So the first thing we need to do is get a base colour onto our shipping container. Now I'm just going to use some paint here. I'm just going to use an old brush to get a bit into our palette. There we go, that's probably plenty. And now we've got that there, I'm going to take a number 6 size brush. Now the reason I say a number 6 size brush is this is the only brush I'm now going to use for the painting of this model. And the paint I'm using is just a multi-prep purpose paint from a hardware store. I'll be also using some acrylic paints, artist acrylic paints from Art Shop, because you can pick those up fairly reasonably. And if you go into a model shop, there's such a range of paints, it gets a bit overwhelming. So I'm trying to keep things simple and go down this route, but please explore other avenues and enjoy. But for now, we're just using a bit of emulsion, acrylic based aerosol paint. I'm just going to use my brush to get a bit of water dripped on here, and then I'm going to mix that in, and then we're going to get on with the painting. Now, to paint these shipping containers, we're just going to take our model, get some paint on our brush, and I'm going to put it on quite thickly, but push it up into the little gap that is caused by the white paper and the yellow corrugated card. Now we're pushing that up there. I'm not bending the brush too much, and we are putting it on quite thick, okay? And that's okay, because I really want to get it pushed up in the joint there. And now I'm going to turn it around and do the same on what would be the bottom of the shipping container, and just pushing it up there and really trying to get into that gap. That's all we're doing for now, and we're doing this fairly quickly. And once we've done that, I'm going to turn the model back round, and I'm going to just remove the paint from my brush. And now what we're going to do is pull the paint down and start to thin it out. But by doing this, we get all the paint into that little gap between the white paper and the yellow corrugated card. And I can do that again from the bottom. And now you should have plenty of paint around on the brush. You can paint the white corrugated bits there. The piece of wood on the bottom of the container is held on by double-sided sellotape and is useful to use as a handle while painting. So let's start getting our first coat of colour onto the shipping container. We've got a nice little base coat here. We're now going to put the first colour on top. We won't get this colour quite even, and I'm going to mix up some phthalo blue ultramarine. I've got a little bit of purple just in case, but I think these two mixed with our grey base colour, they give me a nice base for the shipping container. So I'm going to start mixing that up now. The one tip I will give is we've still got a lot of work to do over the top of this colour, so we've got plenty of opportunity to make it darker. It's easier to make something a bit darker than it is to get it lighter again. So I would definitely say, if you think your colour's a little bit light, go with it, because it's better than trying to knock back a colour that is dark. So what we're going to do now is try and get some shadows into here. So I've got some ultramarine blue here, I'm going to add quite a bit of water to that to thin that down. And as I mix this up, I'm just watching what happens and how it looks. I'm going to add a bit of the phthalo blue to it as well. I want this to be quite dark, so I'm going to add a bit of a purple to it as well. And this wash is just a very watered down acrylic paint, and it's just going to go into all the little cracks and just give us shadows and hopefully bring out and emphasize some of the details. Now, two things I do have at hand is some sponges to remove a wash and some cloths as well. So you put it on, you take it off, you see what happens. There we go. So I'll start a little bit like we did last time. So I'm getting a grey wash ready, and I made the grey using blue, ultramarine blue, and burnt umber brown, and just a little bit of green and red into it, just to give it a bit of texture and just to get that kind of grimy look. So this is going to be a dirt, and I'm going to apply it and then just take it off. So I'm whacking it on quite liberally. Again, think about where would the dirt be and how it would look, and then using my thumb, maybe using a bit of sponge, just kind of taking things off. So this is a great little technique for getting a little bit more dirt and like chips and marks on your shipping container. Here I've got some of the ultramarine blue, burnt umber mixed up, and I'm just going to put some on this little sponge. I'm going to dab most of it off, and then I'm going to take my shipping container. I'm just going to get the focus right here. I'm just going to dab it on like so. So you see it? So I've just slightly dab that on. I'm going to do a little bit more across the bottom. I've hardly got any paint on here. I'm just slowly handing it on, right on the edge, like so. That just gives that idea of an extra bit of grime. Another bit of sponge and a bit of burnt cyan, this orangey brown colour. I'm just going to add a few little spots here and there. Probably too much there, so it's just just a few spots, just to give you idea of rust. And this is where looking at shipping containers in the real world is a good idea, and you'll notice they get quite chipped and rusty along the bottom. So I'm going to focus some rust in there. So now what we've got here is some quite thick paint that has been washed out with a bit of water as well. Same with the cyan paint as well. And I'm just going to take some of a slightly thicker paint and just create some little sort of dribbles and stuff. Don't want to overdo this. Just add it.
little bits of stuff pouring out from the gaps. Pick up some of the rust. Like a little bit more rust in, like so. Got a couple of rust pores down here.
Boom, we are done. I've really enjoyed putting this series of videos together. All that is left for you to do is go away and make more. Please share your images and your experiences with us. Also, look at the shipping containers in the world around you, see where those scratches and marks are. Also, there's heaps of other tutorials of painting techniques on YouTube, so please check those out as well. Thank you. I'm going to turn the shipping container into a tiny house and live by the sea. If you're making your own shipping containers, please let us know in the comments. If you like our videos, please subscribe. And if you want to support us financially on Ko-fi, please follow the link in the comments.